one, the sin of fibbing. This is just a polite way of saying lying. All right? The sin of fibbing. We actually found all sorts of examples. One example was a plastic shampoo bottle. You guys ever heard of plastic bottles? All right. A plastic shampoo bottle. And the label said, very proudly and boldly, said, proudly packaged in 100% post-consumer paper. We read that claim several times, and it clearly was saying that this plastic bottle was made out of paper. So unless someone contradicts me, I'm willing to bet you can't make a plastic bottle out of old newspaper. And since we didn't have a sin of stupidity, we put that one under the sin of fibbing. The next one, the sin of no proof. And just FYI, the sin of fibbing, less than 1% of the products. All right, less than 1%, so not a huge issue. But the sin of no proof was a big one. The sin of no proof. When someone puts a claim on a product label that says it's biodegradable, or that it contains post-consumer recycled content, or that it's non-toxic, as a consumer that kind of mistrusts these kinds of claims, I want to know there's proof backing that up. All right? And it was amazing how few people were willing to provide proof. They weren't having their products independently tested. They weren't providing test data on their websites. We called one woman. The product claimed it was non-toxic. Call the toll-free number and say, look, it says non-toxic. What proof do you have? What tests did you conduct? There's dozens of different ways to measure this. How do I as a consumer know it's non-toxic? And the woman put me on the polite hold music, which is great fun. We were in the store listening to hold music, and the music in the background, and very impatient wife tapping her foot. I'm waiting for that. She eventually got back to me. She said, sir, well, it must be true because we put it on the label. The sin of irrelevance. This is a fun one. The sin of irrelevance. This is when you make a factually true statement that's completely meaningless. All right? My favorite, I travel a lot, right? So I got to run to the airport with my little bitty can of shaving cream, right? So I have this itty bitty can of shaving cream, and my itty bitty can of shaving cream has an itty bitty label on it. And the itty bitty label on my itty bitty can of shaving cream has a great big green dot. Environmentally friendly, CFC free. And I feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Until I remember, you know, CFCs, right? Ozone layer, all that. I feel all warm and fuzzy until I remember that CFCs were legally banned in 1978. It's against the law to have CFCs in that can. Yet there they are, proud green dot, saying, give me some green love. The sin of the hidden trade-off. Now here's kind of a fun little sin. The sin of the hidden trade-off is when a manufacturer or supplier, or more likely their marketing firm, tries to focus a consumer's attention on a single environmental issue as if that issue was all that mattered. This is much the same way that magicians in Vegas, any of you been to a Vegas magic show? Right? It's the way the magicians in Vegas focus your attention on one hand so you don't see what the other one is doing. All right? The sin of the hidden trade-off. We'll find things like paper products, right? A ream of paper. It's got recycled content in it. Look, my paper's got recycled content. It's got some recycled content in it. Isn't that cool? But completely ignoring broader issues like the manufacturing process. And if it's 30% post-consumer recycled content, what's the other 70%? The sin of vagueness. This one's kind of fairly easy to spot. There's all sorts. What the heck does eco-friendly mean? All right? These broad, vague claims are completely worthless. All right? 100% natural. Well, that sounds good, right? Until you realize that rattlesnake venom is 100% natural. All right? Socrates. Any of you remember Socrates? Yeah, the guy in the toga, Greek philosopher. They killed Socrates with hemlock, 100% natural substance. All right? So using these big, broad claims that the consumers are kind of misunderstanding as meaning safe or meaning more environmentally preferable, which isn't necessarily true. And the last one, this is the one that still gives me pause. I'll confess I was arguing maybe we shouldn't include this one. But there was a big pushback because there were some campaigns out there that were saying things like, do you really care about the environment? If you really care about the earth, if you're really trying to do your part, you should start smoking. Just smoke these organic cigarettes instead. All right? So people kind of got to realizing, that's probably not quite right. What's been interesting is this particular sin has spun out into the media. Reporters are coming up with all sorts of examples. Can an SUV ever be environmentally friendly? Can bottled water ever be environmentally friendly? And it gets into those value judgments that I think are a little bit scary.